Alright, I made it back. I forgot how long it takes sometimes to process the video. So I had a request for making one of these, I believe. This was not mine. I haven't made these in probably 4 or 5 years. Hi, Donna. So I just went and looked at a couple of pictures again to kind of get my head wrapped around it and remember what I did last time. And I completely forgot. So I do know that we need some spoon bowls. These have already been flattened. I'm going to just kind of level it out a little bit. I need to trim this one down because I'm going to use jump rings on both of them. So I'm going to clean up this edge, clip this off, clean up this edge. It's got a nicer flowery pattern on it. Better. That one feels good. We're going to come right over here to our grinder, or our belt sander. Let's clip this edge off real quick. Pretty much what I do is I curve the edge, the points, and then I'll smooth out this side, and then I'll take and I'll rotate it just to get the edges off of here. Okay? Could you do me a favor? Could you fill my water, please? Thank you. It's my drum sander. I'm just going to clean this up. No tool marks. Okay, so we're going to take these now. I'm going to cut my holes now because it's going to get a whole lot more difficult later on. A little tip when you're making pendants and things where you need to do a hole, start the hole, punch it on the top side or the front facing side, because that's going to make, thank you, that's going to make the flashing come out the back. And whenever you sand off that flashing, it will, if you scratch into the metal, the silver plate, it's going to be on the back side and not so visible on the front. Wax. Just a little bit of pressure every once in a while and clear the bit. Wax. here to me. Hi. Okay. So we got this little bit of flashing on the back side. Just take it down to where it's smooth. From the back side, you want to use your other Dremel if you have to change bits. Now make sure your hole is clear from all the flashing. And let's see, was it this one? Yeah, so the front of this is nice and smooth and clean like the rest of this. On the back side, you can kind of see the discoloration of where the grinder hit that piece. We don't want that on the front. We'll always want to keep that on the back side. Some of it will buff out and it will get shiny, but if we don't have to deal with that on the front, we don't want to. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to curve these. Like I said, these weren't my pictures, but it's an idea of what we're going for. This was Rhonda Bauer. So we're going to do something similar to this. Is that what you were asking for? Okay, awesome. Okay, so I have quite a few different glass pearls here. I don't have any green, so let's go with, we'll just do some nice bright white ones. Let's see, we'll look at doing 4. Yeah, we'll do 4 white ones. I have lots of other beads, but these will be the easiest. I just got some new stainless steel. It's 304 stainless craft wire. It's 20 gauge, and I'm just going to clip off a piece, yay long. So I've seen this done a few different ways. We want to make sure that our beads are going to match with our spoon. So this one actually might come down to 3 once we get this bottom rounded out or flattened. And at the top we'll probably make a curly Q of some sort, like a little vine thing. And at the bottom, I have seen them soldered before at the bottom to kind of close them off. And I've also seen them come out the bottom, kind of make a loop and then wrap it around. I like things that aren't going to catch on your clothes. So I think what I'm probably going to end up doing is once we get it to the point where we put these in, I'm just going to take a little bit of solder and solder it in. But before I do that, a lot of people don't like to solder, so I'll show you how we can keep it in there. We can use glue, where'd it go? The E6000 stuff. This stuff here. We can put a couple drops down in the bottom, the tight spiral spot. Clean that up and put a little loop in here, get a little twisted wire, stick down in there, and that will also hold this in place. But, so we have our beads. Just gonna put that there. I'm gonna bring this over to the press. You can do this on your bench or on your vise. If you have a mandrel, your mandrel in there. Okay, so you can use a ring mandrel. This is a stainless steel mandrel. You can put this in your vise. And then bend this around with your hammer. That's pretty hard. You can also put it down on here and start rounding it off that way. I'll save this for the end to get my piece nice and round. But we're going to come over to our Flatware bender press. This is the new 3D model. Get everything moved over here. So we're going to do both of these guys. Got my hose. I always have a hammer. Get my headphones off of here. I normally run 2 or 3 sets of Bluetooth wireless headphones, and I just get in here and start working. Okay. So I'm going to take this and go to my smallest setting. I'm also going to go to my mini pin. Okay, so we're going to start at the small end. So I'm just going to put this in here, try and line it up. This is pointed right towards the hole. Just going to slowly start bending it. So we're bending, going straight up. Just starting to round it in here. Get these edges curving in. Okay, so that did leave a little mark here. That we can probably get out, and actually probably all of that will be kept hidden behind the beads anyways. So we have our little cups. So I'm moving up to the middle size pin. I'm going to go to the next biggest chamber, and I'm going to bend this piece here. You want to make sure that the neck is right underneath that pin and you're pointed straight towards the bottom. There we go. So now the whole thing has started the rounding process. Okay. So that part is done. Get you guys back over here with me. Okay. So the first time I did this, I had such a hard time rounding out that top because I focused so much on the bottom that I didn't realize I needed to do the top also. It just makes it so much easier in the press to get that started rounding. We probably won't have to adjust that at all on top again, but each spoon bends a little bit differently. What I'm going to do now, let's get low, I can get you guys. What I'm going to do now is start to turn this piece. Okay. Just want to make sure you guys can see this. Go to smaller hammer. So we want to focus both sides. I'm hitting it in the middle right now. We want both sides to start looking symmetrical. Work our way down towards the tip a little bit. Keep checking to make sure that they're even. Okay, so as I'm looking at this, it's starting to get that shape that we want. So there's my middle going right up to the top. Just as a test fit, put your beads on there. Trying to get it to focus. There we go. So we're going to go just a little bit more, and we're going to take this bottom right here. We're going to actually close that right off. So we're back here. I've got it turned just a little bit of an angle, but remember, whenever you hit, imagine a straight line going down into the anvil. That's what's going to get that shape. Okay, so we're closed at the bottom here now. But I think that's still a little too open. So I'm going to take and kind of close this up just a little bit more. And I think this is probably about the easiest way to do it. So I'm seeing this side curving in more. I'm going to bring this side in. So always check to make sure it looks straight. It looks cute to me. And see our lines that were back there? You can't see them at all anymore. And our bottom bead is covered, and our bead comes almost all the way to the top. So that's where I'd like it to be. So what I'm going to do is I want to do both ways. So on this one, I'm going to glue this one for those of you that don't like to solder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle nose pliers, choose the very tip, and I'm going to make a little circle. Just a little tiny circle thing. What I'm trying to do is I want to make something for the glue to stick to. So kind of like an anchor down in there. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but way back in there, you can see this is sitting kind of flat. So it stops itself in there. So now we can go ahead and we can make our little curly Q up here. So that's our spot. I'm just gonna get this right there. Is that right? I'm gonna take my pliers, give myself about a 1/4 inch above. See how much it drops? Once I put it in though, I lose like a 1/4 inch. So you wanna do this part while it's inside. I'm gonna take and just start curling this around. Right around. And then I'm going to turn it. So let's take it down just a little bit further. all the time, keep testing where your piece is at, because it changes with every little bend. I like this shape. I'm gonna go ahead and tuck this piece back in. And I cut it to where this piece, my flashing piece, is pointed towards the back. Hope you guys can see that okay. I didn't check the messages. Okay, there we go. So now it looks like it has a little vine end up there. So let's get the glue. Get my tools put away. Because we are done with this piece, minus the gluing. Okay, get these guys out of here. I'm gonna get this down in here as deep as I can get it. I see the glue right at the bottom. I'm just gonna pull this right out and throw it on the floor. There you go. There. It does not want to be put together. Let's clean this off. Getting glue everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna put my finger over the hole. We're gonna get our piece here. I got some glue up here on this edge. I want to clean that off before I get our beads in there. You can see the glue kind of shiny down in the bottom. We can take our beads, drop them right in to where our wire is where we want it. This all pushes here, and everything is trying to push its way out. So you can take a piece of tape if you want. Just kind of wrap this up so it's closed off. Make sure your beads are where you want them. And there we go. So the bottom bead is actually sunk down about halfway into the glue. So besides our anchor that we put in the wire, we have that bead holding on to the glue as well. So we'll set this guy off to the side, and he will be ready in a little bit. Make sure you keep it angled up. And that was 30 minutes with all of the extra stuff. Once you get going on them, you can do them pretty quickly. Okay, so this one we're gonna solder. Same thing again. We've started from the vise. Start kind of rolling that over. Try to stay even on both sides. solder doesn't fill voids. So for this one, just that little bit of tapping took us down, got us really nice and even. It's almost perfect, but we want to close this end, okay? We need just enough for a wire to get through. So this piece here is actually called brown board. You can get it at Lowe's. I think it's like a 4x8 sheet for like $5 to $8. I just cut it out into little 4-inch squares because that's what's on my anvil. So these are a bunch that I have to cut out on my bandsaw. This is my last fresh one. It is solid, just like, obviously not as hard as your anvil, but it's not going to leave marks. And after a while, you'll start to see a dimple built in here, and that really helps for adjusting some of the dents in the spoons and stuff. But I want a hard surface now because I want to get this nice and tight. I'm going to grab my metal ball peen here. Okay. Just wanted that little bit of extra. So again, we'll take a piece of wire. Okay, and we're going to do white beads again. Actually, we're going to do gray. We have these nice shiny gray glass beads. Come on. Get on the wire. Okay, and that one went in there. Okay, so we're 4 beads in. Just going to drop this wire down through the hole. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's hardly any room there at all. It's a tiny little hole. And let's see, do we want to do... So here's the other thing that you have the option of doing. I don't like how high the 4 of these big guys are. Well, yeah, no. I like that little curlicue up top. So what I'm going to do is take off my bottom bead, and I'm going to use a lot smaller bead. I happen to have the same color, but just in like a 4mm bead. There we go. So what that did was that allowed the bead to stop it at the bottom, but stopped it half the distance, so I still have enough room up here to make my little curlicue. So here's what I'm going to do for this part. I'm actually going to bend this over. I'm going to take my beads off because we don't want to solder with our beads on there. Don't run away on me. Okay. This is just a fire brick. Put this in here. I'm going to use the rosin core solder. Just going to clip off, let's call it a 1/4 inch maybe. Just a small little piece. And I'm going to drop it down, right down inside. I have 100,000 lights and it's still hard to kind of see everything. Anyways, I want to keep my wire pointed this way. So I'm going to take some of my little, you can use a little pair of pincher pliers. I'm just going to take this, keep it right in the middle, right over my hole. Just clip it with my forceps. So my wire is nice and straight, and this wire is going straight back. Alright, let's grab our torch. Little mini torch. Got my lighter because my clicker don't work. Got my water in a spray bottle so I can spray it off and quench it. There we go. Okay, so we're going here. I want to keep this kind of on an angle going back. I'm going to start to heat this up. It's not going to take very long. I'm watching the bottom down here to see that solder start to melt and fill in. There's 2 little black voids in there. Might need just a little bit more solder. Yep, I need just a touch more solder. Heat this up again. Okay, so what I did there, was that first little bit that I put in, it soldered the wire to the back. But what happened was it didn't quite get the hole around the whole thing. So by heating the bottom of it, and putting the solder down inside, it helped fill in that extra, and it only took a second. So I have a little bit of water left, not a whole lot in my thing. Okay. Everyone still following along? And whenever I put this down, I had it down pointed into my fire block. So it wasn't facing anything that was gonna get hot that I was gonna touch or catch anything on fire. Okay, awesome. Now I'm gonna take and clip off this piece of wire on the end. So I'm going with the curve of the spoon. We're just clipping that right off. Now we'll take our drum sander again. I'm just real lightly gonna touch the bottom of this just to make sure that that wire has no sharp spots. All right, that feels good. All right, so this looks a little tall to me. I don't know if this is gonna come apart or not, but I wanna flatten it out just a little bit. Or we'll leave it just like that. Okay, so small bead first. And there's the rest of our beads. Down in there nice. Because the wire can't move, we're gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna trim this off. And just start my rotation. Okay, so as I'm going about this, trying to keep things straight. Okay, so I have this bent around twice. I'm gonna take it here and just kind of lift it up. And that's gonna bring my vine up. Just bringing that back. Trying to get that piece to stay back there. And still look like a vine. So right now it's off the back a little bit. I'm gonna take and get right as far down as I can get and kind of bend it back. There we go. Now it's right up against the spoon and it's not moving. Make sure I didn't miss any comments. Yeah, sterling is actually easier. This is silver plate, but yes, I definitely understand the being kind of weary working with that. So we have our piece here. So all we need to do now, we've already ground this down. I'm just going to take and move my camera. And once we put the beads in these, we can't really put them in the tumbler. So what I would normally do is get these bent the way I want, toss them in the tumbler. They're going to come out of the tumbler bright and shiny. And if you do have to solder them, the only part that really got colored is this part right here. So make sure you're wearing your mask whenever you're using this. I'm just going to hold my breath for a second. Gonna wipe down here. Alright, so we got nice. I do have a couple little marks down here. I'm gonna take my discs, my disc sanders, crank this up a little bit. Make sure my drill's going in the right direction. So that was a little bit not hey Sarah, still filming. So just trying to get out those little marks. And you got to be careful here because you don't want to go down too far. Especially with the plate. With the sterling, you don't have to worry about it. But with the plate, you have to worry about going through the plate and into whatever base metal there is. Okay, so I'm happier with that. Now we'll take and we'll put it on our white buffing compound. Okay, and that has this one done. All we have to do is add jump rings, or a jump ring. And there we go. So this one's been soldered. And this one, our glue should be good. So here's our glued one. Let's see. That's not working, but we've got the nice little vines and two little colors. The hard part's keeping them lined up in the middle, but most of that happens if you can start that, get both ends going down the center with your press or with your mandrel. If you can get both pieces going the same direction, or not same direction, but right down the middle, it makes getting these folds so much easier down the middle. And if it's offset a little bit, it's handmade. It's unique. And like I say, and if people can't really tell what it is, then it's art. Charge double. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for joining me, keeping me company today. Hummingbirds. I haven't made any hummingbirds. Are you welding those? I've done some soldering, but this is all in my shop, in the house. It's all of 8 feet by 8 feet maybe. So I don't have the room to solder in here. Yeah, I've seen some of those pieces that are just amazing. Someday, maybe. But for now, I think we make about 80 different things so far. And like I said, I haven't made these in at least 4 years. But once I see it, it all just comes back to me. Or if I forget, I just play one of my videos, like my elephants with the blanket bales. Every time I go to make those, I forget how I made them. So I get on YouTube and watch my video. I'm like, okay, that's the measurement. Okay, that's what I need to do there. Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you guys all have a great day. Try and stay busy under this quarantine and things getting worse. We need something to keep us busy, keep our mind off of it. My little Pico tank there in the back. Bye, Nate. Have fun. Those guys are doing great. I just changed the rock. Your fingers shouldn't be that close to it. I've seen these little standy things that they're making where it's like a heavy piece on this end and it's got a wire or something that will put pressure on your piece, and it's freestanding, so it will just hold your piece down for you, so you don't have to worry about getting your fingers too close. And I had a board that had some pins in it that would hold the piece together, so I might try that. Yeah, those are nice, and easy to make. I mean, you could solder those pretty easy. So I've got all my work done today. I'm going to work on bracelets. This is all bracelet pieces. Most of these are over 100 years old. 1910, 1897. What do we got here? 1898. Pretty little pattern here. So I've just got to get all these guys bent. 1892, 1908. I think there's about 40 bracelets ish in here. I've just been putting it off. I should probably get those made, get them on our website. All right, so we are under an hour. Thank you guys all for joining me, watching go through the process for this. If you haven't yet, subscribe, hit the bell so you can get notified of our new videos. And if there's something like you'd like to see made, leave me a comment in the comment section down there. And I hope you guys keep making.